Hi, guys.
Hey, Mir.
Sorry for being late.
No worry.
No problem.
Right, where's my Zoom gone? There we go.
Buongiorno a tutti ed eccoci al secondo appuntamento con Systematika 20 minuti con. Il nostro format è abbastanza semplice, vorremmo dedicare 20 minuti per parlare e approfondire un tema con i nostri vendor. Oggi abbiamo l'onore e la curiosità di parlare con Runecast e parleremo con Kev ed Emil. La sessione, la discussione sarà in inglese, però per qualsiasi dubbi o domande o se c'è qualcosa, qualche chiarimento, vi invito a scriverlo per chat. Vi ricordiamo anche che questa sessione vuole essere il più interattiva possibile, perciò per qualsiasi dubbio o domande vi invitiamo a chiedercelo anche via chat, appunto, per poi far sì che appunto sia una chiacchierata. Questo, come vi ho detto, è il secondo appuntamento e nell'agenda che potete trovare sul nostro sito web, Systematika Academy, potete trovare anche tutti gli altri appuntamenti. A questo punto lascerei la parola a Kev, and I want to introduce you, Kev, and I want to, or Emil, what we would like to know is how can Runecast can help and support our infrastructure.
Cool. So that's a great question. So I've got a few slides here that you know I'm happy to run through. But in terms of the infrastructure side of things, let me just share the screen, because that's probably going to be the easiest way of doing this. Which one of my many screens are we using? It'll be this one. Okay, we'll go with this one. Okay, so Zoom has just decided to not show me. Oh, there we go. Right. So hopefully you can see my screen, and I have just a title screen. Let's get past that. So what Runecast Analyzer is here to do is basically make you aware of probably a large number of issues that you and your customers will have in their software-defined data centers. So typically, we do a study once a year, and the last one said it was roughly 90% of issues in that environment could be prevented just by being aware of, you know, things like firmware installed that could be conflicting with drivers that could cause purple screens of death, things like that. So what we do is we basically take all of the problems, all of that frantic Googling or Binging or whichever search engine you prefer to, DuckDuckGoing, out of the equation, and we're making you aware of these issues before they impact your environment. So typically, what would happen, you know, in most environments is you will have something that causes an outage. You then have to raise a support request with VMware, for example, and that support request then goes across to an engineer. The engineer then asks you for some logs. You gather the logs, you send them the logs, they analyze the logs. All of this time, you know, you're in a position where your service is impacted. So we kind of look at the configuration and we say, okay, we already know about all of these issues. You know, all of these things that are caused by the different configurations that could cause these problems. So we tell you in advance. So we want to save you all that time. We're focused on issue prevention rather than issue recovery, I guess, is the focus there. But that's not all we do. So we also help you to make sure your environment is configured in line with best practices. And also things like security hardening guides. All of these things, there's a whole world of information out there, but nobody's going to read it until you've had an outage or you've had some kind of security vulnerability determined. And so these are the problems that Runecast Analyzer solves. So typical things to be aware of, there's about 30,000, just over 30,000 known issues documented in the VMware knowledge base. And you know, this number just keeps going up and up and up. And it's just not feasible to check your environment for all of these as a human being, because you get human error and it takes too long. And also it's really boring. So, you know, this is what we're doing as a tool. We want to help you save all that time and put your admins and put your engineers' time to a better use where, you know, maybe they can be doing something that's delivering real business value. So yeah, we're just making you aware of all of these issues. We're flagging things up like best practices. So typically, a really good example of this is customers running without NTP configured. It's really easy to do, but if you don't set that up, it's going to cause you problems down the line. So it's not going to break anything, but once something does break, it makes it really hard to troubleshoot. We also deal with security compliance, so things like PCI DSS, HIPAA, CSC, things like BSI, IT Grundschutz in Germany. So there's a whole bunch of different security compliance baselines that people need to stick by. We help deal with these things. We show you where your compliance is, what you need to do to get to that state. And we also deal with logs. So syslog on your ESXi hosts can be generating lots of really, really useful information when it comes to not just you know, troubleshooting issues that are happening, but also preventing issues. So we're going to call all of these things out. We're going to check those logs for things that are already documented in the VMware knowledge base. Excuse me. So yeah, we proactively identify the causes of issues. So as I've kind of been through already, we're checking all of these things, the VMware knowledge base, the best practices, the security hardening guides, security standards like DSSSTIG, PCI DSS, HIPAA, NIST, CIS, all of these things are built into the product. And it's just a single appliance that you deploy. So, you know, you don't need to deploy one appliance and then, okay, well, now I need to do NIST. So maybe I need to do other things. So it's a really good tool that's helpful for bringing new customers on board, so you know what the state of their environment is. But also, if you're doing professional services, you know, we have a lot of partners that use Runecast Analyzer. They go in, they deploy it, they find all of the issues, and you know, they will then say, okay, here's a list of your problems. We're going to charge you. It's going to take us 3 weeks to resolve this, so it's going to cost you this much. So it's a really good tool to use for those kind of things as well. So this is what it looks like. It's a really simple dashboard. It's a virtual appliance. So you deploy this virtual appliance, and from downloading the appliance to actually getting actionable data, we think between 5 and 10 minutes. So you can really quickly get information out of it that's going to really help your customers. Just kind of clicking through a little bit. So here's some sample screens. So this is our all issues view. So in this case, we can see our historical situation. So we can see we've got some new findings have come along here, and then we've remediated some of them. So generally, we want to see this tailing off and getting lower and lower. If this starts going higher and higher, we know we've got some configuration issues in the environment. Moving on. So also we can see here we've got this capability to check. So we can see what the status of the environment was at any point in time. So we retain a year's worth of data on the appliance, and that year's worth of data you can check through at any given point and say, okay, well, we'll compare this against the previous scan. What's the difference? What changes? What things did we fix? What new issues did we come across? And we can see here we've got some that are resolved, some that are partially resolved, and some that are new findings. And from here, so we always show on this findings tab, we always show the combination of objects and configuration that are causing issues. So here we can see, for example, the combination of running ESXi 6.5 with this specific build. These are our two 10 gig Ethernet adapters, and we have the NetQ service, the NetQ filter is enabled. The combination of all of those can cause a purple screen of death. So in order to resolve this, you've got a few options, and we detail these in the findings. But basically, you either patch or you disable NetQ. So it's, you know, we're showing you various different ways to resolve these issues. And from this point of view, so from a security hardening guide, we can see here we're flagging up. Okay, right. So you've got some ESXi hosts. They're not running the latest version of ESXi. So that's not necessarily a security issue, but it's definitely a best practice. So you need to be aware of, you know, if you're not running the current builds, then you should probably look at patching. Going to run through these last few ones very quickly. So here we were showing issues that we've discovered from the logs in the environment. So we can see here we've got an issue with an ESXi 6 host that becomes disconnected from vCenter server. And this is a really common thing that happens. And so we're seeing on these four, or in fact on these 5 ESXi hosts, we're seeing these logs. These are the exact timestamps of the logs that we've seen this on. And so then if you go back to the details tab, we'll show you how to fix those issues and prevent them from happening in future. We've got this log inspector. So we basically, if you've ever seen something like Splunk or Log Insight, you've probably seen something quite similar to this. And it's a really simple tool. Again, all we're looking for is the problematic logs. So we're going to show you where the problems actually exist. So you can then, you know, you're much better armed to deal with them when they're happening. Again, we kind of started out as a product that was aiming to reduce the risk in your environment, so avoid the downtime before it happens. But if you're in a situation where you have got issues, the log inspector can really help you there. So a few key points. So as I said, it deploys in OVA files. It's a 1.2 gig OVA file. You deploy it on premises. A small deployment, typically 2 vCPUs, 4 gig of RAM. So we're using next to no resources. It takes 5 to 10 minutes to get useful information out of it. We can support many vCenter servers. Our largest vCenter, our largest customer in Europe runs 14,000 or something in the region of 14,000 ESXi hosts. They run all of that from a single Runecast Analyzer appliance. So you can scan all of those vCenter servers in one go. We support everything from 5.x all the way up to 7 now. So last week we released the last little bit that was required to make us fully vSphere 7 compatible. So we can cover that entire gamut. And bear in mind that 5.1 was end of general support many years ago. It's extremely fast, so we can do all of these checks in a couple of minutes, and all of these checks take place on the appliance. So no data is being sent out. It's not a cloud-based service. So this is really important for some customers, especially in Europe, when there's concerns about, oh, you know, well, what are the implications of if we allow this cloud service? Even though we're only taking like infrastructure data, a lot of customers have concerns around what happens when that data leaves the environment. And we do have customers that run Runecast Analyzer in an entirely disconnected network. So for example, in a submarine at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, that kind of thing. So we do have capabilities to provide updates out of band, so you don't require internet access. But if you do have an internet access from your appliance, you can get those updates. They come down automatically. It's really easy to use. It's really easy to use, and you know, you probably saw from that dashboard. It's really simple. And one of the things I really like about it, you know, there are some other products out there that do monitoring, and the monitoring, you know, they're really good at their job. But in order to get the best value out of them, you really need to go on a course. Typically, I will sit down with a customer, I'll spend an hour on a call, and we'll go through everything from deploying the product all the way through to looking at the findings. And, you know, that takes an hour. So, you know, if you've got customers that are interested, then, you know, we can definitely help out there. We've got a vSphere web client plugin, so that supports the Flex client. So that's the old vSphere 6, 6.5 Flash-based horrible thing. and also the newer HTML5 based version. We've got vRealize Orchestrator plugins. So if you've got customers that need to get PCI DSS compliant very quickly, for example, we can use vRealize Orchestrator to bring their environment into a supported and compliant state. We provide you with insights for both your VMware environment. So this is VMware on premises and also VMware Cloud on AWS. But we also support now AWS Public Cloud. So we support IAM, EC2, VPC, and S3 from an AWS perspective. We're looking to bring more services online as time goes on. So just a quick look at the architecture. So from here, you can probably see, so the Runecast Analyzer appliance sits in the middle, connects to vCenter Server, connects to your ESXi hosts, connects to your NSX Manager, it connects to AWS. So all of this lives on premises within your environment, and you talk to the Runecast Analyzer appliance, or you can just use the plugin for vCenter Server. Up in the cloud, we have our Runecast Central Repository, which has an artificial intelligence assisted knowledge parser. So this is our kind of secret source. It lives in the cloud. It scrapes all those sources of data. It sees when there's new knowledge base articles released. It sees when there's new updates to the HCL. It sees when there's new data from the white papers. It pulls that data in, and it really helps us kind of make sense of that. It then, you know, a lot of that is kind of, it can be automatically pushed down through the appliance through the internet to your Runecast Analyzer appliance. Some of the stuff we need to validate. So we've got a team of experts that validate these findings as well, because some of the sources that we use might be things like other vendor blogs. So for example, there was an issue probably 18 months ago now with change block tracking in vSphere, and this caused backups to fail. The first place this was mentioned was on the Veeam corporate blog. So we pulled that in, we tested it, we validated it. VMware eventually came out with a knowledge base article to talk about it, but it was in our product before VMware had published that article. So, you know, we can really get ahead of the curve there. So we really want to help you save time, reduce outages, improve your security, minimize your risk, make sure you've got continuous compliance, and look to reduce costs, because outages cost money, and you know, so does failing an audit. So just bear that in mind as well. So all of these things are, all of these problems are problems we can help with. And just very quickly going to run through a few of our customers. So Fujisoft, so Chevron, you know, major gas and oil company, Pure Storage, Avast, Verizon, some major customers of ours. There's also some that we can't mention, unfortunately, because yeah, we're not allowed to talk about them, but we do have some really large customers out there as well. And just a few testimonials. So Pro BTP are an IT services company, and they said Runecast Analyzer provides us a proactive view of our production vSphere cluster and enables us to discover issues that might impact our productivity before they occur. It saves us countless hours of tedious work. And this is what we want to do. We want to give your staff, you know, that time back to do things that are more valuable to you. And in times where, you know, a lot of companies are running on skeleton staff because of COVID-19, you know, freeing up staff time is well worth doing. Volksbank is a finance organization, and so again they were able to proactively prevent outages on systems, so that helped there. And ONI is they're a managed services company, so we reduced their typical 2 issues a month to 0. So they already had a really well organized environment, but getting rid of those typical 2 issues a month to 0 saves them a lot of time, and that makes, you know, it's time is money. So on that note, that's the last slide. If anyone's interested, please feel free to go to runecast.com. We can provide trials and things, and you know, you can get to us at innovate@runecast.com. I don't know if you wanted to say anything, Emil, before we hand over for questions.
You know, for all specific inquiries in terms of NFRs and free trials, please reach out to Systematika. Yeah, they will be fully capable of providing you with such.
Excellent. So on that note, we've got, I think, about 4.5 minutes left. So I don't know if there's been any questions submitted, but I'm all ears.
Yeah, thank you for your quickly explanation about.
No problem.
I just switch 1 minute in Italian, and after that
Sure.
I come you with a question. Ok.
Absolutely.
In questi 15 minuti Kev ci ha voluto raccontare velocemente come Runecast sia una soluzione di software di analisi proattiva che permette agli amministratori di conoscere lo stato dei propri ambienti VMware e vSphere. Vorrei chiedervi se qualcosa non vi fosse chiaro o altro di condividermelo via chat. Nel frattempo ho ricevuto una domanda, la farò prima in italiano, che è se Runecast funziona soltanto sulla parte vSphere o anche su vSun e Horizon. Kev, I have a question for you. Is a question about if Runecast works only on vSphere or also on vSun and Horizon.
Sure, yeah. So we require vSphere in order to run, because we deploy to vSphere, but we also provide information. We provide you with the best practices, with the security analysis. We'll proactively notify you of any configuration issues for vSphere, for vSun, for NSXV, and for Horizon from a VMware perspective, and also for those AWS services that I mentioned earlier. So those are all in there. You don't need to buy any extra licenses or anything like that. You just deploy the appliance and you get all of that value out of the box. Hope that helps.
Okay, so I think that it's all, and we are very, very in time because it's 21. So
21.
Yes, I have another question. And they would like to know how the licenses work. So how is the license method?
Okay, cool. Yeah, so from a licensing perspective, it's really simple. Basically, it's however many physical sockets you have running vSphere. So if you've got an environment and you've got 200 sockets of vSphere, you need 200 licenses for Runecast Analyzer. If you only want to license half of that environment, you just buy 100 and apply it to the ESXi host that you want to monitor. Hopefully that helps.
Sì, vorrei fare una precisazione. Praticamente la licenza è la potete anche comprare per una sola parte del vostro data center, quindi se volete tenere soltanto 4 host sotto controllo, potrei controllare solo 4 host. Yeah, Kevin, I would say that the license could be only for a little part of the data center if they don't want to use it for all the data center.
Yeah, we do have some customers, and they will, they'll deploy for like a proof of concept, and maybe like a small section, and then once they see the value, they then up their license count. So that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grazie mille.
So
penso non ci siano altre domande.
No, I think that there are no other questions. So I want to leave all the participants with this share that is thank you for Runecast and also my contact. So, grazie a tutti di aver partecipato. Nello sharing potete trovare i miei contatti e vi aspettiamo per la prossima sessione di Systematika 20 Minutes With che si terrà venerdì insieme a Nutanix. Grazie a tutti per la partecipazione. Thank you, Kev and Emil, for your support.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Last thing for me, everybody who registers at our website can get a free NFR for 7 days. This is a gift for all participants.
Okay.
All right. I hope this helps everyone.
Quindi per tutti quanti i partecipanti potranno avere una licenza di 7 giorni direttamente registrandosi sul sito Runecast. Magari fateci avere, se vi interessa, ci scrivete a me o a Cristina e noi vi facciamo avere questa licenza. Grazie mille.
Christina, please provide the referral link, your unique Runecast link, so that people can register.
Yes. Right. After this session, all the participants will receive an email with all the details and what we have talked about.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for inviting us. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah. Cheers. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Grazie a tutti.
Grazie.